Welcome to Schmactors, a podcast series that seeks to answer the question, are Hollywood actors all spoiled, vapid, vacuous, and vain ingrates, or do some of them actually have interesting views on issues of the day? Or is it a mixed bag? James Marsters and Mark Devine are putting themselves to the test. They're leaving it up to you to decide if they're interesting or just plain nuts. Listen as they peel back their craniums, share the surprising thoughts that fill their heads, and draw back the curtain on the world's zaniest town.
Hey, Mark. How you doing, buddy? It's been good.
This is my best
so
part.
Good to see you again.
Favorite time of the day. Me too. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all caffeinated up. I've got half a gallon of coffee. How are you? How are you?
I'm good. I have to tell you, I took Jackson to school, and he's in pre-K, and we were supposed to practice writing his name or something, and of course, and that was over Christmas break, and of course we didn't do anything, and now the kids are they're all doing it freehand. Jack's, writing their names, even to the point of writing the ABCs without any sort of, and I'm just oh God, I'm a horrible parent. So I got this chalkboard, and it's one of those light up things. You can put the fluorescent colors on and everything. And he
light bright makes
exactly light bright, exactly like light bright. Damn, that's a good call. But at any rate, so I'm like, okay, Jackson, we're going to practice. I bet you can. And I'll say, this is the J, and he's afraid of the K, and he's angry at me that I have a K in it. He has a K in his name, and I said, "Well, this is like an X-wing fighter, and then this thing shoots out there." And he's like, "No, I don't." And so then he likes to draw pictures of me or mommy. So he drew a picture of mommy, and he likes to draw. He likes dresses, so he'll draw the dress first, and then the legs are pretty much like a kid would draw it, and then the head. But then the hair was green. But then he drew green underneath mommy's chin. And I'm laughing, and I said, "Oh, did you put a beard on mommy?" And he said, "No, it's a penis." And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I never know what the latest psychology thing where you're supposed to, because that shouldn't be a bad thing. And so my brain is working as fast as it can. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I said, well, mommy doesn't have a penis. And he said, Daddy, nobody has a penis on their chin. I'm like, oh, that's true. But I thought I shouldn't shun him for that. I should, say, that's very, what do you say? That's very imaginative to put a penis on mommy's chin.
Yeah.
And then mommy finally came up to see it, and he didn't really want to talk about the penis. And I said, is that I needed him to say it. And so he said, that's a penis on your chin, mommy. And she immediately went, we don't do that. We don't do that. That's private. That is so private. And I'm thinking, oh, we just screwed everything. Isn't that supposed to be not, we don't want him whipping it out or any of that, but I don't think, it's nothing to be ashamed of. And maybe he's going to be a great artist, and now he'll always go back. It'll all be penises now.
Oh yeah, because he's going to mess with you. Oh my goodness! Don't ever. Oh.
Am I raising him right, James?
I have no idea.
Okay.
This is the thing that we never tell our children: is we're all just making this up as we go along. No, none of us really know what we're doing. Okay. Speaking of what we don't know.
Oh dear.
We don't know.
We got to pretend like we do know.
Yes, let's do. Let's come up with some opinions about stuff.
Okay.
Jason, do we have any questions?
Jimmy from Fresno wants to know which one was better, the Dukes of Hazzard or the A-Team?
Ooh. Better in a sense of watching with a sense of irony, or
This is such a
which one was easier to make fun of, I guess. I will be honest. I didn't watch either of those shows very much. That's very cursory.
I did. I like the Dukes of Hazzard. In fact, I had a shirt of the rebel flag.
Mm-hmm.
Because times were different then,
I can't. God, see. I'm a little older, so I was just right for $6 Million Man, but by the time those shows came along, I was too old. I would watch the A-Team, and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't. No, it's too much cheese. It's just too incredibly cheesy. I couldn't do it. And I didn't mind Mr. T. He had conviction. It was George Papard that really bothered me. Like,
right.
They'd have a long speech by George. I'd be like, I can't do it. I'm gonna turn the television off. Can't do it. And I think that probably Dukes of Hazzard was more charming, but I just couldn't deal with the top of the car. I was just Californian kid. Nope.
So it represented to you what that means now?
Yeah, slavery, man. Like these people. That's the flag. I've learned about this in school. That's the flag of the Confederacy.
They didn't teach
and
this in
that
Kansas.
I'm being told slavery was wrong.
Right.
Kind of seems like I agree with that one. So what are they doing with the flag? I don't. Nope. And they do seem charming, fun-loving guys and everything, but
yeah. The A-Team barely watched. It reminds me of the time when, we'd have to wait for cartoons on Saturdays. And I try to explain this to Jackson.
Yeah.
And Smurfs was making its premiere one Saturday. Now I was well into my teenage years, and I thought, I'm going to go to bed and get up at 6 to watch Smurfs.
Did you have any sexual fantasies about that female Smurf?
Yes, of course. But I didn't know what was happening to my body at that time.
Yeah. I knew. I'm a little older than you, so I knew full well.
So you knew it was
all about.
Right.
Oh, baby.
She was she was the only female, I think, in that thing. So you knew what was going on.
I know. I think maybe there was that mystery that gave her some mystique. She's the only woman in there. She's getting a lot of attention, smurfing it up, She could she had her own harem, probably. Yeah. She probably did. If she's the only female, the guys are like, well, I'm not going to choose, but I will be with one different person all the time. And they're like, yeah, we're good with that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take Smurfette.
Take what we can get.
Well, that's going down more of a, when you're a kid, you're not, you're just like, oh, there's just one girl there. We can go into all that. But my point was, that was the moment that I decided I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to miss the Smurfs. And my life changed. And I missed the Smurfs. And it was me too. I was coming out of $6 Million Man that I just loved. And that's the day that I just really stopped watching TV at that time.
Yeah. Yep. I remember Justice League. This is back in the 70s when the animation was so incredibly horrible that it would just be one cell. They'd be standing there stock still, and it's just the mouth that would move. That's all that was animated, like most of this stuff.
Was that the one with Aquaman and Superman and everybody?
And everyone talks like this.
I love that, but I loved it. I love that. Yes, yes.
And the only thing that was good was like H&R Puff and stuff. That was gonzo stuff, man. Like, wow.
H&R Puff and stuff. Those dudes were so high on acid writing that stuff. And do you remember Sigmund and the Sea Monster? We're going off
kind of, yeah.
Freaky.
Because the thing is, when you're competing with that horrible animation, you don't have to be a genius. You just get a bunch of costumes and just jump around, and it's going to be a lot better than that. Oh, wait. What's the Rock Band one? That was awesome.
Bay City Rollers.
No. Bay City Rollers, Mark. No.
SATUR.
No, this was a TV show.
New Zoo Review.
No.
What?
Mark.
The New Zoo Review.
That was a ripoff, a commercial ripoff of the one that I'm talking about. The one that I'm talking about was like Nirvana compared to New Zoo Review.
Do you know New Zoo Review? It's kind of like Barney before Barney came along.
No. I'm talking about rock and roll, Mark. I'm talking about monkey rock and roll. I'm talking about elephant rock and roll, buddy. They rocked hard.
You're talking about the Banana Splits.
Oh,
thank you.
Yes,
God,
yes. The Banana Splits. Thank you, Jason.
It's like I had an itch on my back I couldn't get to, and now Jason just scratched me. Oh, thanks,
totally.
buddy.
The thing coming down the slide with the sunglasses on, and
that's amazing.
Yes,
that was good.
Wait, what do you mean they sent you a T-shirt? Who's they?
Oh, I got a T-shirt from a friend. Sent me a T-shirt. I have multiple. I've got 3 of them now. Yeah, I love them.
From the Banana Splits.
The Banana Splits. Awesome.
What were they about? What was it? They had
rock and roll, man. The passion for the music, man. I don't remember.
I hated the 70s, dude. I hated all that stuff.
Loved that stuff.
It was. we're trying to answer this guy's question, and I guess it was just that, but.
I think that I would prefer the themes and the characterization of the A-team above, even though arguably I think the Dukes of Hazzard was better acted. I think that the beats were more clearly defined in that show. But I think overarchingly the writing actually was better with A-team, more social commentary.
Let's go with A-team.
Donald from Champaign wants to know, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Wow, my biggest pet peeve.
Oh man,
it's like I have this little pet that I feed just so that I can have a bad day every once in a while. But I keep that thing alive. What is the thing that I have? My pet peeve.
I think I'm gonna try to answer for you. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, please. I'm not coming.
Is it when you feel like you're having to do everything and it's not appreciated? No, I'm just talking about the time with your ex-wife. Those moments of
I think we're all like, if you're married, I think that's where
I get it
you're
right
at.
now, dude. I get it right now.
I think if you're married, that's going to be a pet peeve. Unfortunately, I'm divorced now, so that peeve is gone. That pet has been euthanized.
It is alive and well here, my friend. It is alive and well.
I'm sure my ex-wife felt the same way. So I'm not gonna get into that. I don't know. I think. The only thing that really bothers me is politics, but I don't want to get into that. I don't think that's good for the show.
Have you ever? Do you remember ever being like?
This one.
Okay.
Sorry,
that's all right.
Can I interrupt you? Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Sugar. Like we all know it's super bad for us now. Yeah. But there's always a sugar festival. It's a sugar festival.
Which is like every holiday.
Every holiday. You go into the supermarket and they have this one aisle. It's the seasonal aisle, they'll call it. But it's not a seasonal aisle. It's the sugar aisle. And they put it into different molding. There's a different molding for Christmas and Easter and Valentine's Day. And it's always just the sugar aisle.
And it's show you my gut.
Every few months, we're going to have a sugar festival. Yay! And then everyone goes, I feel terrible. Why did I eat all that sugar? Oh, I should have known better. We do know better, but we get bombarded by our society that we have to give in like it's happiness. Like sugar is happiness or connection with each other. And it's not. It's just poison. Ugh.
But I think we live in this country where we want to feel that warmth of being raised in the families, and that, using real butter, and that sugar equals love. And but now I'm addicted to it. It's so addictive.
Yeah, everyone is.
Mine is. I was thinking of you the other day, James, because I was driving home. Commercials.
That's another thing.
You
pisses me off, Mark.
You would mute the
further.
commercials, and I got Jackson singing "Liberty, Liberty, 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 Liberty Insurance Company." He does it all the time. Where I'm like, "Shut up!" And so I'll hear, and then they've got these like, it's that emotional heartstring kind of thing that they'll do where you're like, I don't know if this is a new show but it's really, and then it's like for Pfizer, and then we're living in such a time of lies all over, where I just feel like it just lies all the time.
I remember my son asked me when he was young, Dad, we're watching this television. I hear that it's bad for you. And I said, well, actually, the shows that we're watching are not that bad. If I really think about the themes, they're all about friendship and showing up for other people. If I really look at the themes of these shows, it's just good stuff. It's the commercials that are bad for you. And he's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, all commercials tell us the same thing. They say that I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And that I'm I'm not living the life that I should be living. I have failed somehow. And here are the people that I would like to be, that I should be, if only I wasn't failing at it. And here's the kind of house they have and the kind of relationship they have. And it's perfect. And if only I buy their toothpaste, I can get that life, which I should have been able to do on my own, but I've failed. So I've got to try to buy it. And it's a lie, because that is false. That's a perfected image of life that doesn't exist in the real world. And that's why I mute the commercials, so that we don't get taught those lies. And then he called me. We were on the phone about maybe 6-9 months later, and he's like, "Dad, I get it. What you were talking about commercials, Lucky Charms. They're not magically delicious. There's no magic in it. It's just sugar. That's all it is. It's not magic at all." I'm like, "Son, exactly." Yes.
This is from law school that he called you and just realized?
No, this is before.
Okay.
That. Yeah,
okay, good. Because I do remember, well, here's real quickly. I spoke to the guy from Leo Burnett, a big advertising.
Like he was 7 when he did that. So I just got to make sure that we put that nail
because I spoke to an advertiser that said, here's the thing. He's from Leo Burnett in Chicago, huge advertising company. He says, "We know we're lying. You know we're lying. But guess what?" I said, "What? It still works." Yeah. That's how easily manipulated we all are. I remember Juicy Fruit. No, not Juicy Fruit. It was called Fruit Stripe Gum. And the whole advertisement was, when you put this crazy gum that has stripes on it in your mouth, you start laughing. And so I remember like stealing money from my mom and going to get this and like running back to my room and putting this, waiting for like it to make me laugh. And nothing happened. Nothing.
And here's the other thing about commercials. They are legally not allowed to lie verbally. They can't lie verbally, but they can lie visually. So if you look at the visual stuff that they're giving you, that's where all the lies are.
Right. Yeah. It's always the white picket fence and the
So they can't tell you like, chew this gum and you'll start laughing, but they just show that to you in an image, and that's the message it's conveying.
Right. It's Saturday Night Live does a lot of great parodies on that because it'll always around Christmas, and that's an even bigger pet peeve. The commercials around Christmas make me feel awful. So I'm like, I want to buy my wife a car with a big bow on it. Where do you get the big bow?
Because she loves him so much. Her eyes.
Yes.
When she gets that car, that's
perfect
true
snow.
love, Mark.
Yeah.
That's the true love you can only buy with a nice car.
But Saturday Night Live did this whole thing where the wife comes out and it's this perfect snow, and she goes, "You bought a car without talking to me about this?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's $49.99. The $49.99 APR." She's like, "APR? You mean APR?" It's like, "Yeah." And she started explaining like how this is what it is. This is how much you're going to have to pay a month. And like, he just kept saying $49.99. It's not even $5,000. $49.99. It's we're all suckers for it. I know.
Oh gosh, I guess I have more pet peeves than I thought. It's true.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think maybe I have like 1 million pet peeves, but I don't want to admit it. Okay, Jason.
Jared from South Carolina wants to know, what's your weirdest pre-performance ritual?
Let me guess, James. Something about poop.
Nope. I don't have one. I remember when I was young, I was reading about how actors are all superstitious and how actors would put pennies in their shoes because it was a thing of good luck, or you can't say Macbeth in the theater and all this stuff. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Just learn your damn lines, rehearse like crazy, know your stuff, and get out there and kick ass. There's no like, oh, we had a bad performance because I didn't have pennies in my shoes. No, you just screwed your lines up, dude. You just had that one cue, and you're supposed to jump on top of your cues because it's a comedy, and you were lazy, and there was a little pause in between the lines, and it got flaccid, and the thing just bombed. But it's not magic. It's just do your damn job. So I've never had any of those things.
I used to throw up.
That's a good ritual.
I was so damn nervous that I'd throw up.
You want to get that over with before you get on stage.
Oh my God, it's horrifying, man. Your first like lead that you get, or it didn't even have to be a lead. It's horrifying to get up in front of people and do what you've been practicing. And I'm like, do I know all these lines? And then as an actor, you want to separate yourself from the rote memory of lines and go into what does this actually mean that I'm saying? I used to walk up and down the island of Manhattan putting other people's cues on my Walkman and then would do my lines.
Smart.
Because I was so nervous of going up.
And people, this is before cell phones or earbuds, and they thought you were psychotic.
Yes.
Just mumbling to yourself, like, give that guy a wide berth. Oh my God. But smart.
But then I thought, because I read about Olivier, he was always nervous, he said, before he'd go on.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, maybe this seemed like abnormally nervous.
Katharine Hepburn, she threw up every time before she got on stage too. Yeah.
Me and
she
Kate.
Was phenomenally great. Yeah. I mean, I think it takes extraordinary courage to get out on stage and perform in front of people. It's extraordinary amount of courage. Yeah. So it would be strange if you're not experiencing terror.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's actually it's probably better to experience being nervous, because I went to the other side and just started drinking before going on stage.
Probably doesn't work.
And we were doing what was it? Harold Pinter's.
Well, maybe for Pinter it would be a good.
Maybe, yeah. And I was playing a drunk. It was
Brecht.
It was a great part. But I was supposed to pull a knife out, and they thought they dulled this knife, and I sliced my finger. And because I'd been drinking so much, blood was pouring down my leg, but people started slipping on my blood.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was horrible. And so then I had to go to the doctor,
And you don't.
I made it through the play, and I'm like, I'll be damned if I don't go out and take a bow. So I go out there with my hand in my pocket. Blood is dripping down, and I do my bow, and then they take me to, this is at Kansas University. Then they take me to the hospital, and the head of theater comes to see me, and I'm like, oh God, I know I just smell like so much booze. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble. Of course, they were like concerned I was going to sue them or something.
Yeah.
I wish I could say that went away.
This is the thing that I say to especially young actors is like, it is very normal to feel intense fear when you get out in front of an audience, because the only time a predator is going to stare at another animal is when they're planning to eat that animal. So predators have forward-facing eyes. That's how you tell it's a predator. Side eyes are like cow eyes. And when a cow stares at me, I don't give a damn.
Interesting.
But when a predator, any forward-facing eyes are locking onto me, there is a million-year-old voice that says fight or flee. And when that's magnified by, say that there's 500 people in the audience, that's 1,000 predator eyes locked on me or anybody on stage, and there is an overwhelming fight-flight thing. And the courage of acting on stage is to overcome that, to not put up a wall to protect myself, to not just run away, and to actually do exactly the opposite of what my instincts are calling for, which is to become vulnerable and let them see everything. That is a lot of courage.
I've always found the comfort if I can connect with that other actor, really, of just being present with that other actor. What about you? What brings you to that place of comfort? What do you do?
I have done so many plays at this point that it's no longer nerves. It's just a little excitement, which is kind of delicious. It's no longer fear. It's just like, oh, wow, this is kind of like going on a roller coaster. It's not abject terror. The first time you go on a roller coaster is abject terror. But if you go on a bunch of roller coasters, it's just like, oh my God, it's going to be like adrenaline, and you get little shivers in your spine and stuff like that. I thought that I was completely over it, and then I got my first job in front of a camera up in Seattle doing Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
So it was a hit show that was being filmed. And I only had, my lines were like, huh, yes, sir. Well, I guess so. Nope. Stuff like that.
Which are the hardest lines to deliver? Can I just say that?
Yeah, but I didn't have to remember a lot of dialogue. And it was, it was a very short exchange. And it was the lead character, Joel, was lonely. He got stood up on his date and he was trying to connect with another human being. And even the bellhop wouldn't connect with him. And I was the bellhop. So the whole point was that I'm not looking at him
That's
like,
hilarious.
I'm just shining on. Yes, sir. Right over.
Yeah.
Whatever. Very easy scene. But I had an out-of-body experience. Like, because I was so aware that lens over there represented millions of eyeballs. I was getting stared at by millions of people. Because this is back when it was network. And if a show was a hit on a network, it was literally 20 million people were watching that thing. So had I had anything but monosyllabic lines to deliver, I would have flamed out completely. But because I only had to grunt, basically, I got through it, and it actually was a funny scene.
It sounds brilliant. That was a great show. That was a phenomenal show.
Yeah. Oh, so fabulous.
It's scary. We'll go. What was the question?
Do you like Dukes of Hazzard, or do you...
I'm going to go with Dukes of Hazzard. Wait.
Okay. We answered the question.
Charles from Vancouver writes in, Apple's Vision Pro is the new big tech gadget, and watching immersive movies are the big selling point. What do you think about people watching entertainment in isolation with computers strapped to their head instead of going to the theater or gathering around the TV to watch with friends or family?
The function of art is to remind people that they're not alone. I think that's why artists create art, is like we make this message or we make this artifact, whether it's a song or a sculpture or a play or something. We create this thing that expresses how we feel about something or how we view it, and we spend a lot of time making it really sparkly, really, really pleasing, because we're nervous that when we express that thing, people are going to go like, oh, I've never felt that.
Yeah.
And so we put this artifact out into the world, and we're waiting with bated breath to see if people go, oh yeah, me too. I feel the same way. And if that happens, we feel like we're not alone, and it's wonderful. And if it doesn't happen, we're crushed. And the great thing is, when, like, I might be on stage performing, like, let's say I'm on stage doing a song that I wrote, and if the audience responds as if they have felt the same way, then I'm feeling really connected with them, and I feel like I'm not alone. It's not just me who feels that way. If I'm in the audience and a performer expresses something and that I relate to, I'm thinking, hey, me too. Yeah. I feel like you do. I'm not so alone. The thing about doing it with an audience is that is multiplied hundreds of times, because I'm in a room full of when I'm in a room full of people who are saying me too, like I feel the same way as the artist does, I'm surrounded by people who are feeling the same way.
Yeah.
So this collective sense of we are not alone, we are together, that's just really, really powerful. And I hope that we don't lose that.
I know so many, if there's any young people listening, if there ever has been to us, they've just turned it off, because I think, I don't know if that's progress or not. And I know how old we sound now, but I look at like everything right now. It's so much easier. It's so much easier through technology, but I feel like the soul, I'm going through this whole thing. I remember having to ask a girl out to a date for the prom or something like that, or just a girl you like, to call her on the phone. And I remember putting on, Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight, and getting myself, and I'd write down like what I'm going to say, my talking points, before I got the girl on the phone. And I'm terrified, dude. And I'd listen to that over and over. I'd pace, and then I'm like, I'm okay. All right, let's go. Let's do this. And then I get to like that sixth number, and I'm like, no. Okay, one more thing of In the Air Tonight. And then I'd finally call her, and she's really chill. And yet I'm like, so, hey, it's Sparky Devine, Mr. Stevens' class. And, and then before you know it, you get through it, and she says yes. And you hang up that phone, and man, nothing felt better. Nothing felt better. And it was just, and now I just go to, you can text, and you're talking on Facebook or whatever. Even Facebook, I think, is antiquated, right?
Meanwhile, your grandfather would have said,
I remember the time when you had to, and you had to it was just magical. You had to face the girl. You had to be in the same room with her and ask her face to face. Now we got this thing called the telephone, and you don't even have to be in the same room with her. There's no connection. I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
but I think it's true. I think there's something lost on the phone, and I think there's something further lost if you're just texting. It's just less human contact.
It's just I agree with theater. It's just experience it together. It's like a concert, man. It's like a concert. There's nothing better. Yeah.
Movies are the same way. Yeah, because I mean, there's no performers to feel like I'm not alone. Like all the people who made the movie are just like checking the box office receipts to see if anyone likes the film.
Yeah.
You know? Like they like it. They get a little bit of that. But when I'm in an audience and we're all laughing together, or we all get silent together, and we're finding the same things arresting or humorous, I feel like I'm not alone. I'm reacting like other people.
Well, I know a lot of people. They will have movie night, and a few friends will come over. And I think that's good. We started doing that as a family, but it's always like Shrek or something. None of us want to watch. It's like the little Napoleon gets to watch whatever he wants.
Because the kids need to like it too. You should put on Napoleon Dynamite and just see what they say. Because it's not overtly offensive at all, but it might lead to some good conversations.
No, I never join in. I'm always working, but there's nothing better, man, when you're at least with friends, and then to experience them.
Now, that being said, I got to be perfectly honest, because I do like to game.
Yeah, alone.
If I have a little bit of spare time, I don't have that much time to do this anymore, but I do like to do that. And I don't even do multiplayer. I hate multiplayer video games.
Why?
Because generally speaking, I'm not good enough, and I just get killed and killed and killed. And also, people are pretty rude.
They're horrible.
They're
horrible.
People like I am playing video games so I can get away from humanity and just go into this world that is finely tuned so that I can relax and feel like
I'm in control.
Something. Something. Yeah. And so I'm thinking about these Vision Pro Apple goggles, and I'm thinking, oh, these are terrible. They're ruining. Can you get those yet? I'll be really honest about it. They sound pretty amazing. I guess all technology, it sounds really good. And then
I go to Brainstorm. Brainstorm. If you haven't seen it, Natalie Wood's last film, Chris Walken, one of the greatest sci-fi films I've ever seen, where they can attach a device that looks like the Oculus, whatever it is, and they were able to connect somebody's brain of what the feeling would be like going on a roller coaster. They started out with that, the scientists, and then it started being used more for sex, and you'd see guys like just naked, where they'd have to, they came in, they're like, what the hell is he doing? And it's like porn, like today, VR porn, virtual reality porn. The one I saw last night was so bizarre, though. I won't go into it on this.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Jorge from New York City would like to know, what show would you love to be on that's on the air right now?
Do you know any shows that are on the air right now?
I'm trying to think. Is Poker Face on the air right now? Is that still being made, Poker Face? I saw a little bit of that one. That was good. I watched one episode. I thought it was amazing. And then I went back to playing video games. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible audience member. I'm like a bad boyfriend.
I'd like to be on Cocomelon. I've asked Jackson, because I did a children's, movie. And I said, do you want to see Daddy in like a really Academy Award winning, movie? And I showed him part of it, and he said, I don't want to watch this. And I realized his whole life is YouTube, where everybody's on TV. He sees me, so it's just
it's not special.
So I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know anything that's out there in the adult world, because we're watching Cocomelon and this kid named Ryan that's worth like $35 billion, who's actually a really sweet dude and such a good role model for
right on
kids. Yeah.
You'd be on that show.
He's got a 3-picture deal with Disney now.
Okay. Good for him. If he's a good role model, I hope he does.
I would like to be on Ryan's show. That's what I want.
Yeah. Or let's see what Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I've started watching. I'm watching a little bit of that one. I love that one. That's really good.
Is it like Aldous Huxley's kind of Strange New World?
No. It's just Captain Pike, and he's like a really sensitive guy, and he's the captain, and he has huge hair, but that's okay because he's nice. He has warm eyes, and then he's got his band of misfits, and they're all Starfleet people, and they're all so kind and understanding to each other, and then they get fired on by the alien. They try to figure that out. It's great. Love it.
Wait, why does Captain Pike have huge hair?
It's not explained. It doesn't need to be because it looks awesome, but it's huge. Sometimes it really takes me out, though. I'm like, dude, it's just the bangs are too much, dude.
But is it like a Klingon kind of thing that maybe he's not from? I always assume like the guys in Star Trek, they're mostly American. You got the Scottish guy and then Sulu, I guess. But maybe his hair from the planet he comes from. Yeah, no, that's considered.
He's just this really gorgeous, tall actor who seems like in real life he's probably a nice guy, frankly. So you can't hate him.
Do you think he has huge hair?
He just does, but they make it huge. No, that's good. They go into the makeup trailer and they just take all those bangs and spray it all up, and it's just, like when the bangs on the front are like this very, very large kind of Hollywood look. Yeah. It's that, but more than that. Yeah,
like Elvis.
Yeah,
like Elvis is running the.
Yeah, I would like to be on that show, and I would also like to be on Beavis and Butthead. I know it's not being made anymore, but if they ever make it again, I would love to be like class. I don't think it's all Mike Judge doing it anyway, so he wouldn't let me in. But I would love to do Beavis and Butthead. Oh, Mark, I always feel so good after these. I always feel like my funny bone's been tickled.
Yes, I wanted to go on longer. I don't think I answered one question correctly, but as you said, it's just opinions, and everybody has an opinion, just like everybody has a penis on their chin.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm really proving that I really am very smart. I think that I'm just proving. I don't know what I
think people may have written that off on me a long time ago. They're like, well,
probably.
Gee, if he can talk, I could talk too.
Yeah. Well, okay. I gotta go.
Pretty much it.
And
all right,
Mark,
be careful out there.
You have something on your chin.
What is it?
A green on your chin. Just a little green thing on your chin.
It's just my penis.
Thanks for listening to Schmactors. Join James and Mark next time for more pointed pontification on the topics of the day. Do you have a burning question that you just can't wait to have the guys answer? Well, then head on over to schmactors.com and send it our way. If the answer won't get them canceled, we'll add it to the queue. And if you have a friend who you think would enjoy the show, use the share button in your podcast player and send it to them directly. Trust me, it'll make their day. Signing off for James and Mark, this is producer Jason. Until we meet again.